a seat. The program will start in a few more minutes. One more minute. So, ladies and gentlemen, the organizing committee of the 24th commemoration of the Vietnamese Human Rights Day welcome you and thank you very much for being here today with all of us. Chúng tôi xin được đại diện ban tổ chức Ngày Nhân Quyền cho Việt Nam lần thứ 24. Xin trân trọng kính chào quý vị quan khách, quý vị đồng hương và chân thành cảm tạ sự hiện diện đông đảo của quý vị trong ngày hôm nay. To start the ceremony, please rise for the salute of the flag of the national anthem of the United States of America and the Republic of Vietnam. Và kính thưa quý vị, chúng tôi kính mời tất cả quý vị trưởng thượng, quý vị lãnh đạo tinh thần, quý vị quan khách, quý vị đại diện hội đoàn, cơ quan truyền thông báo chí, quý vị đồng hương, quý thân hữu mở đầu chương trình sinh hoạt Ngày Nhân Quyền năm nay. Kính mời quý vị cùng đứng lên để làm lễ chào quốc kỳ Hiệp Chủng Quốc Hoa Kỳ và Việt Nam. First, the national anthem of the United States, sung by Mr. Grant Tabor. Grant has won multiple singing competition and has had opportunity to perform at the various prestigious ensembles, including singing at Carnegie Hall. Và kính thưa quý vị, anh Grant Tabor sẽ hát quốc ca Hoa Kỳ, U.S. National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight were the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now the national anthem of the Republic of Vietnam. Sau đây kính mời toàn thể quý vị đồng hương cùng đồng ca quốc ca Việt Nam Cộng Hòa. Please stay standing for a moment of silence to remember our fallen heroes who have given their all for the cause of freedom, and in remembrance of those who have sacrificed their life for the ideal of freedom, democracy, and human rights in Vietnam. Kính thưa quý vị, sau đây là một phút mặc niệm để tri ân bậc tiền nhân đã có công dựng nước, ngăn chống ngoại xâm và tưởng nhớ các đồng bào nạn nhân cộng sản, chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa và quân lực đồng minh đã hy sinh vì chính nghĩa quốc gia, vì lý tưởng tự do, dân chủ và nhân quyền. Phút mặc niệm bắt đầu. Thank you very much. Please take your seat. Xin cảm ơn quý vị và kính mời quý vị an toàn. To open the celebration, I would like to invite Dr. Nguyễn to take the podium. She is a member of the organizing committee, also a program director, and will take us through the history and significance of Vietnam Human Rights Day. Kính thưa quý vị, và sau đây để bắt đầu chương trình, chúng tôi giới thiệu đến quý vị Dr. Nguyễn. Cô sẽ cho chúng ta và hướng dẫn chúng ta trở lại lịch sử của Ngày nhân quyền Việt Nam từ 24 năm vừa qua. Xin quý vị cùng chúng tôi đón tiếp Dr. Nguyễn. Please welcome.
Dear honorable members of Congress, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to represent the organizing committee in welcoming you to the 24th commemoration of Vietnam Human Rights Day. More than 24 years ago, Dr. Nguyễn, a pro-democracy activist, began a non-violent movement to call on the Vietnamese government to restore all basic human rights, such as freedom of speech, freedom of religion, movement, and association for all citizens in Vietnam. Fueled by this movement, Vietnamese Americans across the United States rallied together to advocate for the passage of a joint resolution to designate May 11, 1994 as Vietnam Human Rights Day. Through the tireless efforts of the Vietnamese American community, coupled with the support of members of Congress, led by former Senator Charles Robb, as well as former Congresswoman Leslie Byrne, who are very honored to have present today at this ceremony. The joint resolution was passed successfully and was subsequently signed into law by President Bill Clinton on May 25, 1994. Since then, the commemoration of Vietnam Human Rights Day has become an annual bipartisan sponsorship event. We are deeply honored to have Senator John Cornyn from Texas sponsor this year's commemoration. The passage of the resolution honoring Vietnam Human Rights Day represents the United States' dedication and commitment to supporting the Vietnamese people's nonviolent movement to advance freedom, democracy, and basic human rights in Vietnam. Under one unifying voice, we seek to bring attention to the human rights violations taking place in Vietnam. More than ever, we must be firm and courageous to speak up about these injustices. As Dr. Martin Luther King once said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. In a very special part of today's event, we have 3 guest speakers who are former prisoners of conscience from Vietnam. Pastor Nguyễn Dinh, college student Phương Nguyễn, and musician Việt Nam will share their personal accounts of being on the forefront of the fight for human rights in Vietnam. We will have the opportunity to hear from the experts in the field of human rights, from members of Congress and the State Department on the role of human rights in foreign policy negotiations with Vietnam. We'll also hear from members of the media whose exceptional reporting bring attention to current human rights violations in the world. We are also very fortunate to have representatives of delegations from Myanmar, Tibet, China, Laos, Mongolia, and Gilgit-Baltistan. We appreciate their friendship and commitment to stand with us to raise awareness of human rights oppression, not only in Vietnam, but throughout the world. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank you for being here with us to commemorate the 24th anniversary of Vietnam Human Rights Day. Next, I would like to invite the chair of our organizing committee, Mr. Đinh Hùng Cường, who is also president of the Vietnamese community of DC, Maryland, and Virginia, to deliver his remarks. Please welcome Mr. Đinh Hùng Cường.
Ladies and gentlemen, Senator, Member of Congress, and distinguished guests. Thank you for joining us today to commemorate the 24th anniversary of the VIệt Nam Human Rights Day. As you know, the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives passed the bill in 1994, designate May 11 as the VIệt Nam Human Rights Day. Then President Clinton signed the measure into law. Every year we gather here in the capital of the free world to bring attention, awareness to the plight of those who suffer at the hand of the socialist communists of Vietnam. The communist regime in Vietnam is not a forgiving government. If you dare to speak your mind, to speak the truth, they will hang you and destroy you and your family. There is no freedom of expression, no freedom to speak of your mind, and no freedom to assembly, to protest. This is the simple, clear truth about the Vietnamese Communist government. As the Vietnamese American community of the Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, we cannot look away while our family and our friends are held in political prisoners in Vietnam. Recently, they put in jail almost 100 honest people just for the political and reason. We will hear the key leader who have and continue to fight for the human rights in Vietnam, and it's the true their leadership, political will, and moral courage that we have such tremendous support here at the Capitol Hill. Thank you for being here and share the remember of the Vietnam Human Rights Day. Thank you very much.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor for me to have a very special guest, to introduce the very special guest with us today, former Congresswoman Leslie Byrne. She has been with us from the beginning and was a key figure in the founding of the Vietnam Human Rights Day. She served the people of Virginia with distinction throughout more than 30 years of public service. She served in the Virginia House of Delegates, then as Virginia's first female representative to the U.S. Congress, and subsequently with the Virginia State Senate. She is a champion of democracy, and she was instrumental in authorizing Resolution SJ 168, designate May 11, 1994, as the Vietnam Human Rights Day. So please join me to welcome a dear friend of the Vietnamese community, former Congresswoman Leslie Byrne.
It's wonderful to be with you, my friends. From the first day that we started this quest, I've been with you. And I've told you that when we first celebrated the passage of Human Rights Day, I told you that I would be with you as long as it took. Now, in all honesty, I have missed 3 celebrations. One was my 50th wedding anniversary. One when I was out of the country, and the other when I had pneumonia. So out of the 24 celebrations, I've gone 21. My friends, we are at a crossroads. In all the times I've been with you, I've given you snapshots of what I see happening in human rights in Vietnam and human rights within the world. I am very concerned about what we're seeing now, because the lack of leadership on the part of the United States in human rights has given a green light to those who would abuse human rights of their people. We see this in fascist governments. We see this in communist governments. And let's talk what human rights means. It means the freedom of religion, the freedom to speak out when you see something wrong, the freedom of press, the freedom of travel. These are all things that humans are entitled to. The UN Resolution on Human Rights guarantees us that we can speak out when we see something wrong. It guarantees us that we can go about our business and not be interfered with. It guarantees us, whatever our religion is, or no religion at all, that we are entitled to keep that in our hearts without government interference. Now we see an upswing in these rights being taken away. Not only in other countries, but here in the United States. So I ask you, I know this is 24 years of long, hard fight, but I still have the energy, the will, the heart to continue to fight for human rights. I hope you do too. I hope you do too. Not only in Vietnam, but here in the United States. Don't let your voices be silenced again. Thank you. God bless you.
Next up, we'd like to extend a very warm welcome to VUI, President of Radio Free Asia. Radio Free Asia is a private, non-profit media company funded by the U.S. Congress through a grant by the Broadcasting Board of Governors. Radio Free Asia acts as free press in countries where there is no indigenous free press. In 2011, Ms. Liu created the Open Technology Fund, a global internet freedom technology program housed within Radio Free Asia. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Liu.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks to my dear friend, Dr. Kwon, and to Congresswoman for making today possible. It's my honor to be here with you representing Radio Free Asia, possibly for the 10th year in a row. I'm honored to be in a company of so many who have dedicated their lives to a better Vietnam, a nation that would respect all voices, all religions, and the human rights of all of its people. Free speech and free press form the cornerstone of that respect, and that's why Radio Free Asia was created by Congress, to advance the cause of freedom through journalism, the freedom to speak out against injustice, the freedom to worship freely, the freedom to disagree with others, and the freedom to know the truth. In Vietnam, the challenges we face in this great cause are serious and many. This year, we've seen Vietnamese authorities enforce a criminal code aimed at silencing independent voices. We've seen citizen journalists and bloggers jailed for their social media posts. And we've seen courts mete out excessive jail sentences without hesitation and without evidence. Since last year's Vietnam Human Rights Day, RFA videographer Nguyen Van Hoa was sentenced to 7 years in prison. His crime? Capturing the protests on video in the wake of the notorious Formosa toxic waste spill. He was held in jail without communication with his family for almost 9 months before being sentenced. RFA contributing blogger Mother Mushroom was sentenced to 10 years. Her parent commenting on that same disaster. And pro-democracy activist and RFA commentator Nguyen Van Dai was sentenced to jail for 15 years, plus 5 years more under house arrest for carrying out activities to overthrow the government. His activities consisted of expressing pro-democracy opinions online and with others. We must not lose heart. Each of us and all of us must continue to nurture freedom in the face of adversity. For Radio Free Asia, the very nature of our work runs contrary to the government's policies of repressive party control. RFA holds regimes accountable to its people. As such, we will always be a news organization at odds with authoritarian rule. The free flow of information is the single most threatening thing to any totalitarian regime bent on controlling its people through violence and intimidation. All of us here understand this, and I believe the people of Vietnam deeply appreciate it too. Through social media, Facebook, YouTube, and our website, Radio Free Asia's reports on censored and sensitive issues reach millions in Vietnam every day. With the help of the Vietnamese people and human rights champions here and around the world, these issues cannot be ignored. That's why the journalists at RFA, like the people of Vietnam, will not give up, and we will not go away. All of us must continue pushing progress together for the sake of these brave voices, for the sake of giving every man, woman, and child their God-given human rights, and for a better, brighter future for all of us. Thank you. Every one of you are partners in this battle.
Thank you very much, and I think the program was a great start with the two ladies. Và kính thưa quý vị, sau đây chúng tôi xin phép được mời bác sĩ Võ Đình Hiếu. Ông là Chủ tịch Hội đồng đại biểu Cộng đồng Người Việt Quốc gia Liên bang Hoa Kỳ, đồng Chủ tịch Hội đồng Liên kết Việt Nam Quốc nội và Hải ngoại. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Hiếu Đình Võ. He is the President of the Board of Representatives, Federation of the Vietnamese American Communities of USA, and the co-chairman of the United Council of Vietnamese Homeland and Overseas. He has practiced medicine in California since 1980. And please welcome Dr. Võ Đình Hiếu.
Kính thưa quý vị, chúng tôi xin nói tiếng Việt trước rồi nói tiếng Anh sau. Kính thưa tất cả quý vị và quan khách, kính thưa ban tổ chức và kính thưa tất cả quý đồng hương, không những ở đây mà khắp nơi trên hải ngoại. Nhất là hôm nay chúng ta sẽ podcast về Việt Nam. Thành hôm nay là một ngày rất quan trọng, ngày nhân của Việt Nam, thì chúng ta sẽ nghe tiếng nói của người Việt hải ngoại với chuyện về đất nước. Chúng ta đã biết rằng trong 43 năm đã trôi qua, tất cả những gì đã xảy ra tại Việt Nam, tất cả những gì đau khổ mà trong những ngày tháng qua, những người tù nhân lương tâm, những người tù nhân hăng hái trong lần nói lại. Và hôm nay ngày kỷ niệm 4 năm ngày nhân quyền Việt Nam, đây là một thành công rất lớn lao cho tất cả quý vị đã vận động được ngoài Hoa Kỳ công nhận ngày nhân quyền Việt Nam, bởi vì chưa có nước nào mà có được ngày nhân quyền cho quốc gia đó. Do đó chúng tôi xin trân trọng cảm ơn tất cả những quý vị đã vận động được, mà trong đó bác sĩ Quân là một trong những người đó. Ngày nhân quyền Việt Nam, xin cho một tràng pháo tay cho cái sự thành công rất thành công của Việt Nam chúng ta. Nhưng mà chúng ta nói ngày nhân quyền Việt Nam và nói về Việt Nam, thì những cái sự đau thương đó chúng ta phải làm gì? Với hành động, chúng ta không thể nói suông được. Do đó trong một cái sự nguy cơ rất lớn lao vấn đề hàng hóa, trong một sự nguy cơ rất lớn lao Việt Nam sắp mất về tay tàu. Nhưng mà quý vị nhớ, trong sự nguy cơ có hai chữ: nguy hiểm và cơ hội, nguy hiểm và cơ duyên. Chưa bao giờ chúng ta nghĩ rằng Đông Âu sụp đổ, chưa bao giờ chúng ta nghĩ rằng cách mạng hóa lại, và chưa bao giờ cách đây 1 tháng trước Bắc và Nam đi ngồi lại với nhau. Chúng ta không bị được cái đó, nhưng mà tất cả đều có cơ duyên, rồi với hồn thiêng sông núi, rồi với niềm hy vọng. Chúng ta cần phải có hy vọng, chúng ta cần phải có niềm tin, và từ niềm hy vọng, từ niềm tin, chúng ta phải có hành động. Đã đến lúc người Việt hải ngoại khắp nơi đoàn kết trong đồng ngoại, bỏ hết tất cả gì biệt để chỉ hướng về cho đất nước Việt Nam mà thôi. Và với sự hỗ trợ thức tỉnh, thì khi nào trong nước công, nông, dân, sinh viên đứng lên, hải ngoại hỗ trợ vận động ngoại giao quốc tế, thì ngày đó chúng ta mới có cơ hội trở về trên đất nước Việt Nam thanh bình và tự do. Và hôm nay, kính thưa quý vị, tôi tin tưởng, tôi hy vọng, tôi cầu mong, và tôi mong rằng một ngày hôm nay, Ngày Nhân quyền Việt Nam sẽ được tổ chức tại Sài Gòn, và ngày đó sẽ diễn ra. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today, and on behalf of VUI community in USA, I thank you for to have VIệt Nam National Human Day. That's a very big honor for us. And thank you for your support. Leslie's left ready. She's been here 21 hours, 24 times. So I really appreciate your help. But this time very critical. We need more your help. I need, the editor of VOA, all of you support us to spread the word that in Vietnam, after 43 years and after 24 years of Vietnam, they still the best one. The last month, the report of the reporter of Without Border, Vietnam is 175 out of 180 countries in the world spread the press, freedom of press. So, I need your support. And we've been here 43 years, but we've been here all the time because we still remember our country. And even we were said in America, in the world, our hope when we left our country is come back freedom and liberty for Vietnam. Not only so, for all over the world, for Tibet, for any suppressed country. So, let's work together. Let's dream together. Dare to dream. Dare to hope. Dare to listen. And someday, with the help of all of you, Radio Free Asia, Radio IFA, everything, we come back to Vietnam, celebrate Nation Human Day in Saigon. I invite all of you in our shelter plan. We go back, celebrate. That day will come. We will come together.
Our next speaker has tremendous expertise in how the media can foster and protect human rights. Charles Goolsbee is the Director of Policy at the Broadcasting Board of Governors, the independent entity that oversees all U.S. government-sponsored civilian international broadcasting, including Voice of America and Radio Free Asia. Please join me in welcoming Charles Goolsbee.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Voice of America is our nation's premier international broadcasting service, reaching millions of listeners through radio, television, the internet, social media, and 45 languages around the world, including Vietnamese. Established in 1943, VOA's Vietnamese service is one of the oldest and broadcasts 2.5 hours daily to up to 1 million Vietnamese.